Don't
Get me
even.
started right
Yeah,
now.
don't even. Let's not. Do Coco review and we end up in tears by the end of it.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful, man. All right, on more of a serious note, I have to ask you. You ever have a 9mm round that didn't go off?
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. I was gonna talk about it in the film. I don't know if you want me to go ahead with it.
I mean, we could
Uh,
start wherever because I mean the
okay.
quotability in this film is ridiculous.
There is. I've written down a bunch of quotes that I think are just, they that's how an action genre is defined.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
awesome quotes and
especially this
one-liners
was
you
the
could take out
peak,
of it.
man. Give me a quote.
Okay, so here's the quote of all quotes, right? The head of the Federal Investigation Unit for Mexico, and he's talking with Christopher Walken, and he's like, what's he gonna do? And then he's like, well, Creasy, he's an artist. His art is death. He's about to paint his masterpiece. I'm like, yep, writing that down right now.
I love the Christopher Walken accent you got going on there.
I
I
tried,
like it.
but it's not that great.
No, I like it. That was good. And I
Um,
can't say it enough. Great first pick for our movie, man. Like this was I mean, like I don't know if you've been on the same level, but I've been kind of breathing this film the past week. I don't think you could have picked a better one when it came to like pacing, acts. It is a classic revenge tale, but it has heart.
yeah, I mean, I just love this movie, and it surprises me how many people I know haven't seen it.
The director is Tony Scott, and then the screenplay writer is Brian Helgeland. I've never heard of him, but this is actually a remake from 1987, I found out, and that was kind of like
Oh,
the
I didn't
theme.
know that.
Yeah, it's actually a remake from 1987, and that was the. Actually, I got a very important question to ask you at the end of this. That's what it's going to tie
Sure.
into that. The overall theme was, I mean, the man was not suicidal in any way in the 1987 version, but it was basically just like a man who found the daughter he never knew he'd have, or like whatever, that whole dynamic.
I did not know. I knew it was based on a book. I didn't realize they had previously made it. So that means that the book must have been written even earlier than I thought. I thought it was maybe one in the early 2000s or the 90s.
No, yeah, you're right. It was book, movie, and then movie in 2004. Well, for the starters, the big thing I put in capital letters was characterization. Just the fleshing out of characters in this film is beautiful. Like they actually put the time in, everything.
The first time we see Denzel Washington, he's really disheveled. He's got his beard growing. It's pretty
Oh
untamed.
yeah, he's a
He's,
mess.
he's driving through the border town, going into Mexico to see Christopher Walken. He's just looking at brutality. He's looking at people getting arrested, and he just doesn't care. He's just drinking. Like none of that matters. Really, nothing in life seems to matter him at this point. And that's our introduction to Denzel. And you can tell that there's something that's put him in that mindset. And we kind of find out later when he's talking to Christopher Walken, there's stuff that happened in his past. We don't know what it is, but it was really traumatic, and it's still affecting him.
And then I would definitely say that's the one thing I got off from the beginning is this man is ready to die. I figured he said he was there by impulse. I figured he was there basically just to see him that one last time. And then that's also what I loved about their friendship. Rayburn, I guess his character's name. He could tell he was there for that almost. Like, I don't know, he could without they were having a conversation without talking almost.
I'm glad you knew Christopher Walken's name because I could only think it was Christopher Walken throughout the
Yeah,
entire
no, I
movie.
can't. Like I
Uh,
said, I've been breathing this thing.
So I think you even said something I didn't think of, which is, yeah, he might have been there to say goodbye to his friend, his last friend in the world. It was something I didn't think about, but you have Christopher Walken, and he seems, they've walked the same path. Why does Christopher Walken's character seem really in a happier place?
Georgina, obey me. I will love you.
He's not disheveled. He's clean cut. He's enjoying life.
Yeah, he even says he
and
lives like a king.
Live like a king down here. Yes, you do.
exactly. And you can tell that the difference is going to be, and I think this is the main theme of the movie, it's family, right? Christopher Walken was able to
Bingo.
find a woman, he was able to have children, and it's kind of allowed him to move past the things he's done in his life. And that's where Denzel hasn't, and why he continues to struggle. And that's going to be where you have him bonding himself to why that journey and his ultimate redemption happens, right? The Ramos family. They're kind of his stand-in family, if you will.
Oh yeah, keep going because you nailed it. The theme is definitely family, even
Yeah.
with the villains.
Exactly, exactly. So with the Ramos family itself, you have Mark Antony, who has had an issue with his own dad, who's left debts and left a supposed kingdom that really isn't what everyone thinks it is. And he's kind of felt like he needs to project that he does still have that kind of money. His family has this expectation, or at least his wife does. And he realizes much too late in the film the importance of the family is being there for his daughter, but instead has literally sold her for money in this crazy scheme he has going on. I think another large theme within the family is just the issues that people have with their dads and their dads not being the greatest things. Lavos, the voice, he's the head of a crime syndicate. Not exactly the best kind of dad you can have, and gets his own family in trouble. Supposedly the most important thing to him is family, as he repeats throughout the movie.
But that's mainly what he would use as the ransom line,
The most important thing in life is family. Do you agree?
Right, exactly. Knowing that everybody is going to agree with that for the most
Yeah,
part.
like, why wouldn't they? Let's see my notes here if there's anything. I just started, like, the first time I watched it, I just wrote random stuff, and I was going to see if they had, like, meaning behind them and they'd be funny later on.
Literally
I said
took
he's mean
notes.
mugging a 9-year-old for the first 30 minutes.
So he tried to establish dominance, and
Well, that's what I'm saying. That car
Completely
scene too,
failed.
like, she kind of puts him in his plate. Like, there's so much symbolism in that scene when she gets out and gets in the back seat. Like, he's trying to explain to her that it's just a job. Like, he's like shutting her out. He's just like, no friends. This is just a job. And she pulls that thing where it's like she jumps out of the car
yes, and you think she's gonna run off, and
or
everybody's
something.
really
Just
intense.
like he gets that anxiety and he's ready to go. Like, you see it in his face. He is ready to go. Like,
He's had his firearm out. He's already looking at a bunch of different things.
yeah, I love that moment, and it just kind of shows him that, like, hey, one, this isn't just your average little girl / person you have to watch, and two, put yourself in check. You're being kind of rude.
Yeah, if you look at it, how I looked at it is she thought they were equals, and then when he establishes, no, I'm a bodyguard, this is a job for me, okay, and she sits in the back.
But the fact that she's like a 9-year-old to have the wherewithal to do that too, it just says, like, I'm not your average, like, you're underestimating me.
With the way her character was written, of showing that she definitely was a very intelligent little girl, even at points asking Creasy what concubines are to make him uncomfortable.
Different rules.
As a parent, that just made my day. That was
Well, it's
hilarious.
like an icebreaker.
Also, the asking him something to the effect of, does being black in Mexico help or hurt you
Yeah.
in your profession? And you're like, what 9-year-old girl?
Well, she's precocious. Like, that just...
Time will tell.
I like
Great
the answer.
response.
Yeah, I like the
Very
answer.
curt with it, but I was like, man, laughing that entire time.
Because
Yeah.
that's also most what I love about this film that you picked. It's perfectly pieced out. It's like I said before, they put the time in. They actually went Act 1. All right, we gotta set up this character. Here he is, and then we kind of hit Act 2 when he tries to murder himself, which gets kind of dark.
Yes, the pacing in this movie, for the most part, holds up really well. It breaks into the different arcs, and there's one scene that I think is really done well, and where he's tried to, he's gotten very drunk. He's tried to end his life.
Yeah.
And the bullet, it's a light primer and it doesn't go off, right? Let me tell you something. In a Glock 17, it's always going off. That gun is super reliable. So that's why just knowing that the most reliable of guns ever made doesn't go off, and they're going with the then religious theme saying,
Bullet always tells the truth.
maybe somebody stepped in and made sure that this bullet didn't happen. So he goes out into the courtyard, and it's down, like he's down below in the courtyard. It's nighttime. It's very dark where he's at. There's rain coming down, and he's calling Christopher Walken, and he's saying, hey, have you ever had this happen? And Christopher Walken's saying, no, I haven't. It could happen, but I haven't really seen it. And, the bullet always tells the truth. And, he's asking him, knowing that, hey, what'd you do? Why were you firing this gun? Or what happened here? Tell me. And he says, oh, it's nothing. And he looks up at the window, and you see PETA there. And she's lit up in her room, and it's almost like looking up at like a little angel. And you can see like he's seeing, and he's finally
beautiful.
realized there's his redemption.
So you're just like enlightening me. Like I always got all those, especially like later on in the film. There's a ton of religious themes in this, which I love. Like I knew she was his salvation, but like I didn't notice that symbolism. That's gonna hit me next time I watch it. I did get that too. Like it's a second lease on life. Like this thing that never happens, it happened to you. And also even proving it with Peter's father later on in the film. I thought that was kind of poetic.
Yes. Religion is talked about throughout the movie. I still think that naturally all religion is tied into human behavior, whether we're believe in it or not. And so the scene that follows that scene I just spoke about with Denzel in the courtyard and then looking up at PETA is actually a scene where Sam Ramos is praying to La Virgen de Guadalupe. Sorry about the accent there. And
well, when he's in his little, like his room.
Yeah, and he's explaining that he's praying for, Toyota, Ford, he doesn't care, somebody to save his business. And it's showing those same demons that, Denzel is fighting. But where they both go in the trajectory of the movie after that is very different. Creasy decides, hey, I'm going to start living my life to help this person, to help PETA, to help this family. And Sam Ramos, in a way, says, I'm going to help my family, but I'm going to go about it a very bad way.
But I'm going to use my family.
And that's the split where it happens in the movie, showing the different, the father analogs to PETA and the routes that they take and diverge from in the film. Some of the other religious things I noticed too, right? So Denzel, he's read the Bible and he shows it when he's talking with Sister Anna. So he's quoting different scriptures there.
Be not overcome of evil, but
overcome evil with good. Romanos capítulo 12, versículo 21. I'm the sheep that got lost, Madre.
He's familiar with, the patron saint of lost causes when he receives the little necklace from PETA.
Oh, I love that bit. Actually, believe it or not, they said a lot of the scenes with Denzel Washington and Christopher Walken, that one's probably more scripted, but they said a lot of them were ad-libbed.
After he's laughed for the first time and he brings PETA to Christopher Walken, you could tell that they're literally just talking to each other and just kind of everything's ad-libbed there.
Yeah.
I'm in love. I'm moving to Mexico.
But I'm sorry, continue. PETA was giving him the St. Jude. I love that. That's probably my favorite, like, religious symbolism for him specifically, too.
Exactly. And he's that lost cause up until the end.
Fully paying it forward. Like, I love that. That is so full circle.
You're reminding me of the gunshot. Say that line for me one more time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you mean gunshot holds no fear when he's teaching her how to swim or whatever, and he's teaching her not to flinch?
Yeah, so one of the other things that I think epitomizes Denzel's character and also PETA, and here is their bond, like their first bonding moment, is that Denzel, when he's in the villa, he's been hired and employed. Eventually, he kind of sees a caged bird, and it was the previous bodyguard's bird, and he lets it go, right? He's like, there's no reason to have this caged bird. He's like, go home, go be free. I think he sees that with PETA as well, sees that she kind of feels like somebody who herself is trapped, and so helping her with like the block is his way of helping set her free. Every time he's gonna fire that bullet so then she jumps off the block, he's helping her be able to escape that.
That's great too, because I've to be honest, watching this, I've been trying to tie the bird to something metaphorically and I couldn't, and that actually makes much more sense.
Yeah, it's one of those, this movie, nothing is done without purpose, and like you said, showing the bird, like there had to be a reason.
Yeah, that one definitely hits me in the feels when, I don't know, I want to call her Mother Teresa, but that wasn't her name. But
Sister Anna, yeah.
Yeah, see, even and I watched the film like 3 times this week. Like what? When she's like that one scene where she's just like, you are her father today at the swim meet.
Today, you are her father.
And I watched it with my girlfriend one of the times, and like even she loved this film, by the way. But we do have one gripe, and we'll get to it towards the end.
Of course, that's going to be the first time that PETA wins a competition using all of everything she's learned from Creasy, being able to, when that shot is heard, she's set free, jumps into the water, jumps up and like hugs Creasy, and he's all wet,
Yeah.
like didn't get to put the towel around her, and they're really laughing and smiling.
Classic
You know,
moment.
the entire time. Right, yeah. And you're like, okay, this is the John Wick moment. You're going to take her from
Yeah,
him.
well, even that's actually, that is, like I said, I've seen this movie like 3 times before. I've seen it this time, and it's been a long time since that third time. It really does. It kind of gets you to forget what kind of film this is, but that's literally the moment when, like, in the back of my head, I was like, oh, this is about to go real bad. And, like, it really does. It kind of fools you up until then. Like, this is that kind of movie.
Another moment too, and I think this is pretty soon after the pool competition, right? You have Peta's dad, Sam Ramos. He's having a disagreement with Peta. She's kind of crying and hugging him, and you're finding out that she really doesn't want to do these piano lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And in it, he's saying, you know, Peta, I want what is best for you. Like, I hope you understand that. And she hates this idea. She's got no interest in it. And the irony is,
Yeah, drop it.
this
What's
is
the...
this is the setup for her getting kidnapped.
Literally.
This is what he's planned all along. And so when he says this is what's best for you, he is also saying that in the other sense that you're also going to get kidnapped, but we're going to get a bunch of money from it, and our family will pay off the debts and be set from here on out.
Loaded
And
words.
right. And you know, we know all too well that's not really what's best for her.
Oh, so sad, yeah.
Exactly. And then you see my part that I enjoyed, which is what I thought, like, Denzel is real in this. It isn't just he headshots every single person. I mean, later down the film does get, you know, a lot of shots and things
Yeah, I
that
was
maybe
gonna say
aren't going to go exactly
montages
like that.
between. Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, he does have his moments.
Shot like 4 or 5 times, doesn't necessarily rescue Peta, you know, and isn't like the John Wick you see now where he can just one-shot everybody and he's a complete beast. Yeah, he's very good. He has his skills. They may have diminished. He's kind of gotten them back maybe a little bit, but it just showed like, hey, he's kind of a real hero and you could believe it.
Yeah,
You know,
it had that realism.
unrealistic.
And then we get like full revenge on from there. Like, well, I mean, like you said, there is that bit that could be cut out.
I do think there's a lull like in the middle of the movie where they probably could have cut out 20, 30 minutes. It would have made the movie not 2.5 hours, maybe a little more digestible.
What parts
But for
do
the
you
most
think? I'm
part,
curious.
the lull in the movie, I personally felt happens when he's injured, he's in the hospital, he's building up to kind of go after Hermandad.
Oh, okay.
And I just felt it was like 20, 25 minutes of just extra that they could have forwarded, gotten through, cut out a bunch of the parts. Like, we already knew he was going to do it. And I just felt like pacing wise was a little off. But for the most part, I liked how they did it. I thought everything was really digestible.
Are you surprised that the cops tried to blame or tried to take credit for him being a murderer or whatever when he was passed out in the bed? I thought that was kind of funny.
I thought this movie did a great job of showing what I think Mexico still deals with, which is there's a lot of Mexican pride, and there's also still a bunch of Mexican criminal underground, or it's actually pretty overt, where, you know, the police are almost always corrupt, and there's very few parts of even the Mexican military that isn't corrupt. But that doesn't mean that the people themselves aren't good people and aren't corrupt. And I think that is shown by Mariana of the newspaper. Yes, she's
Yeah.
going to do things that maybe we think are unethical, whether it's sleeping with the head of the Federal Investigation Unit in Mexico to get information to give to Creasy. But she knows ultimately, just like Christopher Walken said,
He'll deliver more justice in a weekend than 10 years of your courts and tribunals. Just stay out of his way.
a great
That's the
scene.
same scene you were talking about before, but the quote is,
Yes.
he's an
Yes.
artist. A man can be good at many things. Food. His art is death. I can't do Christopher Walken, not one bit.
It's
But
a
that's-
tough one. It was funny with the notes that I took here. I literally, this is it. I put lull in the middle of movie before Creasy starts to really go after La Hermandad, and then I put in quotations, his art is death, and he is about to paint his masterpiece. And that's just why I left it. Like, I stopped taking notes after that, and I was like, okay, this is where it like gets
This
really
is where you
good.
buckle up and
Just-
enjoy.
Yeah.
He
That
said,
was
I've
it.
done my
That was
work.
the moment right there.
That's good. I like that. He said, this part's for me. But that's actually one of the bits I would say shines through the most, is just this large vendetta revenge ballet that just, you get to see Creasy at his peak form, fully let loose. You get to see what he's really made of. All being torture, of course, but then leading up to one of the most humiliating revenge deaths.
I never even realized that, and they do perfectly explain it, that he kills the one guy with the rectal bomb. But for whatever reason, maybe I blocked it out. I just didn't realize that that's how that was done. Yeah,
Same
Fuentes.
here. I didn't know that either. I don't think I paid attention to much of what he was saying. I think I just saw the scene and then bomb. Also, marking
so
like
focus on the line he says.
I wish you had more time.
And then he walks away.
Dude, I wrote down a
was
bunch. I
dying
wrote,
laughing.
I wish you had more time. I said, a bullet always tells the truth. Gunshot holds no fear when he was trying to teach her to swim. That one really rung with me. He said it 50 million times. And then
Revenge is a meal best served cold.
that's like one of the classics.
And just like you were saying, in my head, I thought, oh, the gunshot holds no fear because
Yeah.
she goes instantly. And I'm like, oh, they repeated it enough to where it's literally in my head.
That's just good writing, man. That's I feel like it's all for a reason, and that's what I like in my storytelling.
You want to know some of the bad writing of the movie?
Yeah, if you got more gripes, go for it.
I do. And this is the pettiest of petty gripes, but I'm going to put it out there.
It's like an angry grape.
Absolutely. So the enemy police group, they're evil and so they've got to have a Spanish name. I mean, also, it's in Mexico. Of course, they're going to have a Spanish name, but, it's La Hermandad. And I remember I looked over at my wife as soon as that happened. And I said, did they name their brotherhood the Brotherhood? Like, that's the evil name? Like, that's awful. It's not like, La Hermandad.
It's so
de
on the
Muerte,
nose.
Brotherhood of Death. Like, no, it's just the Brotherhood. Come on. Yeah, so I was like, okay, that was very, very lazy writing that they just said, hey, American audiences don't know Spanish.
Well, I was going to say,
This
that's
sounds
for
evil
me
enough.
right there. That one's for me right there. Because I'm like, I didn't know that's what it meant. Now I'm enlightened because of you. But like, now I'm the stupid idiot that was like, oh, okay, there's their name. That's their name.
Yes. Now, whenever you watch that, you'll just be disappointed like I was that was their big bad name.
The Brotherhood.
I mean, I also liked how they did show the different parts of the organization. And one could argue, again, maybe that elongated the movie too much, but I did like seeing how he had to go step by step and was pretty creative in how he did figure things out.
Like paying attention to what Denzel's information he was finding out, like as he's going through the levels of this gang, trying to figure out their whole operation and what they do in it. He's finding how scummy it is. Like I remember the one level was the guys that are just supposed to pick it up and they just get a measly $200 from a debit card every 2 weeks just for doing that kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's so low,
That's it. That's how much a life is worth.
Yeah,
to you.
like, and that, like you said, that's the theme of the movie. And we just see all this different versions of it. Like, what is a life worth? What is, and family's the most precious life.
That's what everybody keeps saying. I'm just a professional. Everybody keeps saying that to me. I'm just a professional. I'm just a professional.
I mean, I liked how they didn't just have him shooting everybody. Did they obviously use forms of torture? Not that we're endorsing it, but I thought it was creative in how he approached it. He kidnaps the one La Hermandad guy and he's cutting off the guy's fingers and trying to get the information.
Each one was perfectly paced. And then he found the one guy from Jersey. I like that one. That one was fun.
I'm from New Jersey.
You from New Jersey?
Yeah.
I'm from New Jersey.
I wouldn't say that Denzel was necessarily from Jersey. I think
No,
he was
just happy to see an American man.
Thing. Yeah.
He can get my hometown whoop beaten something.
Had it been Christopher Walken saying it, maybe that's a little different. But
Yeah. Actually, fun fact, Christopher Walken was supposed to play originally the lawyer.
Oh, really?
But he was sick of playing like villainous character types, so he wanted to play Rayburn.
I think he did a very good job as Rayburn, and I would not have liked him as the lawyer.
Yeah, that's how I can't see it.
I did think Mickey Rourke was criminally underused, but there's too much. Maybe it's going to add too much characters. I don't know. I felt like...
I think too much ego. There's a reason for that. There was apparently some beef between Denzel and Mickey Rourke on set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, originally there's a deleted scene where
Mark Anthony.
There was a deleted scene where Mark Anthony cuts his head off because there's just like a point in the film where he's like,
"That's why he's fucking dead."
But originally the scene was supposed to be written where Denzel Washington was supposed to have like a standoff with Jordan and then eventually kill Jordan himself, part of the revenge trip. But I guess they didn't get along, so they had to rewrite it, and then they didn't use the deleted scene.
I gotta say, I liked that it was Sam Ramos who did it. It's done off screen, and you just see him in the pool, and then it's pretty quickly resolved and not much of a mystery.
Yeah, it's just
It's
kind of like
almost
thrown there and then thrown under the rug.
Ass like that's hard to find.
and so I enjoyed that. Not only it wasn't actually Denzel who takes out Lavos in the end. It is actually like the Mexican forces that go and take him out
Yeah.
and fully take down that network.
Well, actually, it's kind of curious you say that because there is an alternate ending I was going to read to you.
Go ahead, read it, because I did not know there's an alternate ending.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they didn't go with it, but it's not a bad ending. Like, I don't want to ruin it. Here, in the original filmed ending, Creasy does not die in the car on the way to the Voice's house. The two meet and they chat a while about the price of a human life. Creasy continuously looks down at his watch. When the timer reaches 0, Creasy smiles. Then the entire house explodes. This implies that Creasy used the rectal bomb on himself that he used on the Fuentes earlier in the film. Tony Scott cut this from the film because he felt that it did not fit the tone of the film. And I agree with that last bit. He was kind of like a dying knight in the car. That's why, I don't know, it kind of like it fizzles out. I like that.
Yeah, I think, he's willing to trade his life for a life because he knows that his life is ultimately over, having been that injured.
And he's happy to die for PETA. Like, it's happy it went out that way, not to a bullet to his head.
Exactly. Also, I think people would be like, did he use a butt bomb to take them out? Like,
that's your last thought coming out of the film. Like, that's what everybody's thinking, walking out, dropping their popcorn off. Well, also, I got to say, I ordered the Steelbook case for this just because I liked it so much again.
Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. That's what I'm rating Man on Fire. I'm rating Man on Fire as buy the Steelbook.
I mean, I'm all for it. I didn't even know that was an option, and I'm literally looking that up right now.
Okay. You move. I'll snatch the life right out of you understand?
The main negative I will give, and it's really not for even that pacing part in the middle, because I'll still accept that because I enjoy the movie that much, and you could probably convince me that it was necessary.
No, please say it.
And I know that this is kind of a Tony Scott trademark, right?
Say it.
His camera, it's like it's
Oh,
always,
thank you. Oh,
always,
man.
Focus in, focus out.
That's the one we had the whole time watching it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the editing / just like blending a bunch of images together, and like you said, the camera's going in and out and just
in and out. Yeah, and I feel like he does it on purpose, like because it does.
He does. I actually have a quote here. I have a quote here,
and I can't like it gets me out of it, and it messes with me because I focus on that, and I don't know why he does it. I've just noticed like does it a lot in different ways. He just can't like let well enough go alone.
Wait, where is it? I have a direct quote from him about why he does this. He likes his audience to search for as much information as they can in one scene, and he wants people to experience his movie like a jigsaw puzzle. But like me, I agree. No, I agree. I don't know what. I think that's just like somebody asked him in passing. He's just like, yeah, this is the reason. I revert back to the kidnap scene, and I would have you watch that and be like, what is going on? Like there's never backed up shots of him aiming at someone. It's literally just close up of him firing and then close ups of other bad guys firing and then her just like running in place several times, chopped in and out of the edit. Like
it's not like it's shaky cam. It's like it's an unfocused cam.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain it other than that, and it irritated me.
Well, that's him wanting you to figure it out like a jigsaw puzzle. So enjoy. Well, thanks, Tony Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he's not with us anymore. I'm sorry.
No,
rest in peace, man.
You are absolutely right, and it's kind of sad what happened, actually. So.
Oh, enlighten me.
Now, he passed in 2012, and 2 years later, his brother came out with more information about what happened, but he actually jumped off a bridge and committed suicide.
Oh, get out of here.
And nobody knew why, and it was kept hush-hush, and then 2 years later, his brother revealed that he actually had cancer and couldn't deal with the pain anymore.
Just wanted to end it.
And just wanted to end it. And because I remember when it happened, I enjoy so many of his movies. I know it doesn't seem it with me talking about his camera use, but I do really like a lot of the movies he's put out. The characters he creates, I feel like I always enjoy. So it was sad when it happened. It shocked me. I was like, I can't believe it. He's one of my favorite directors. He's just an action guy like that. And when I need an action movie, I'm like, dude, Tony Scott, throw on one of his films.
All right, well, here, I have a question for you that I was going to wait till the end.
It hit me.
We're two happy-goer, good movie-goers here. The first one came out in 1987. 17 years later, in 2004, this one came out, and now it's officially 17 years later from 2004. So who would you cast?
Just for Denzel's role?
Yeah, like if you can't think, I understand it's probably hard to think of like a child actor, but yeah, who would you cast for your Creasy?
You know, I really struggle to think of anyone
Just
outside
get
of
like
like
an MCU person or
Hemsworth.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say Hemsworth, right?
And here's the thing: Chris Hemsworth has his on fire. It's called Extraction. The Netflix.
Yeah, he's getting a sequel
And
too.
it is. So I got the vibes of this, except for the fact his main character didn't die, and so
Somehow.
it could possibly be, but right now it is hard for me
Well, like
to.
here, I'll wrap off some names. Tell me if you can see anybody else in this role from ones that were also in the running for this specific movie in 2004.
Okay, interesting. All right, sure.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, I mean that's.
That's number one. Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, I see why they're choosing all these guys, but again, no.
Kurt Russell.
I do like Kurt Russell. Don't see him pulling it off, but
Yeah,
I
I
do
can't
like Kurt
picture it.
Russell.
I can't picture the revenge part with Kurt Russell. He's too nice
No,
for me.
no,
I
me neither.
can't.
Exactly.
Michael Keaton. Also can't see it.
No.
Alec Baldwin. He could probably be a son of a bitch, but I can't see him being nice to a little girl. I can't see that part. He can't be the nice part. Whoa. Hey there, you made it. Thank you so much for watching. This has been our first movie review for 2004's Man on Fire. If you enjoyed this video and you like this kind of content, a like is always appreciated, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we're always going to be dishing out more. We're always going to be watching new movies. And as always, thank you so much for the support. We're still working on an outro like this, so yeah, until next time, I'm this guy, he's that guy, and all together, we're Walla Walla.